for Naseer Shah, I think irrespective of whether he's doing something related to music or not, your voice is a tool, right? So you need to work on that. So I started developing health issues, and one of them was a slip disc. And what people are not aware of is that you can get a slip disc at any age. And I think all of these things and understanding that, it was not a very good feeling. I was in a lot of pain and it was self-inflicted. I was like, this is where I belong. And I kind of, mustered up the courage, told my parents that this is what I want to do, and they were not for it.
Okay, so I'm here with Shreya Chaudhry. She is fresh out of winning the Best Actress Award at the IIFA Digital Awards 2025. This is for Bandish Bandits 2. Shreya, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so
must
much.
be obviously inundated with WhatsApps and Instagram messages and calls or whatnot stuff. You've got a busy schedule, so I'll just start off with the beginning. How was the IIFA experience? Tell us about that.
No, firstly, thank you for taking out time, and yes, have no reason to complain. IIFA was absolutely a huge dream come true for me, and I am really honored and so grateful to the entire IIFA team, the jury, everyone who voted, because it's such a boost of motivation for an actor to kind of win such a prestigious award. And especially for a project that is so dear to me. Bandish Bandits is really, given me a lot in my life and my career. And I got the award in Jaipur, which is furthermore a very, very important part
of because of the entire
Bandish,
season.
So all in all, I think it's an experience that I will never forget for the rest of my life.
How was it like, this is something which I believe I asked you last time also when I interviewed you. How was the experience of working with Naseeruddin Shah? What kind of, obviously great, but if you can share maybe one or two tips or anecdotes which he gave, for as far as acting is concerned or as far as managing your career is concerned.
So Naseer Sir, of course, we didn't really shoot with him in season 2, but he is the core and soul of Bandish Bandits. But in season 1, there was a lot of observing. And besides that, he was so kind, to take a bunch of us actors for a workshop. So like Hrithik and myself and a few other actors, we got to spend some time with Sir and learn from him, every single day from the time we woke up, and just that entire process of how he goes about his day. So he's probably achieved every award, every kind of accomplishment there is to achieve, but till date he does his riyaz. And just something that I think has really stayed with me, other than the million wise things that Sir says, is something as basic as, working on your voice. Because as actors, you're doing your acting workshops, you're going to your dance classes and your gym, etc., etc. But a very important tool for an actor is your voice. And I remember him saying that, all of us have this habit of doing that actually stresses your vocal cords furthermore. It's bad for your vocal cords. So there was an exercise that we would start our day with every single day of that workshop, which is actually warms up. It kind of wakes up your vocal cords, and it also, it's like a riyaz for it in a way. And the habit of doing should be stopped.
But this is more for, because it was Bandish Bandits, a musical based show, or as an actor?
No, that's the beauty of it. For Naseer Shah, I think irrespective of whether he's doing something related to music or not, your voice is a tool, right? So you need to work on that and, practice it the way you practice any other muscle of your body. So something that he gets into such detail, and that was so beautiful for me to see that, Sir till date works on all of these things. It's not just about, the larger things. It's about the tinier details. So
I think I'm going to start gargling more often after hearing that. But especially for the interviews, from one great actor to another, you worked with the Mehta Boys. You worked in the Mehta Boys, an interesting project with Boman Irani. So what takeaways did you get from Boman?
How lucky am I, right?
Yeah.
I feel very blessed that I've, gotten this opportunity to work with the kind of actors that I did in Bandish Bandits, and then on Mehta Boys as well. Of course, Boman Sir, then even Avinash Tiwari, Pooja Swaroop, just fantastic actors. And with Boman Sir, what was so amazing was that I not just got to act with him, I also was directed by him. So there was just so much to take back and learn from him. And again, one of the many anecdotes that I have from all my learnings from Boman sir, who, for me, like, I really feel like Mehta Boys was like going to film school. Because he himself is an institution of acting,
True.
of everything, I feel, of just being an artist. So I remember for my character Zara, which on paper is a very empowered girl. You know, so when we think of empowerment sometimes, we also play it to the nose. You know, we have this idea of a very stereotypical empowered girl, and it was so beautiful the way, you know, Boman sir broke down the character, added layers, made it from a one-dimensional character to a 3D character, you know. So he, like little things like, you know, empowerment or being strong-headed doesn't necessarily mean being aggressive. You can be gentle and you can be empowered.
Of course, yeah.
You can be strong in your silences as well. And I feel there's a lot of that in Zara. Just her presence sometimes can give you a feeling of that, okay, and that's probably where she gets her strength from as well, just being self-assured. And just the way her character kind of pushes the love of her life to do something that, you know, probably he can't see in himself. Just all of those thoughts, the way he kind of made me prepare for that character was something, again, I will, you know, hopefully take with me and all my future characters as well.
Yeah, I think those little inputs really help a lot.
Yeah.
Moving on to this Insta post of yours, which really went viral. You know which one I'm talking about? The one where, you know, you spoke about the weight loss journey, slip disc, learning from Hrithik. So, is this that same article of Hrithik Roshan which had come out where he'd spoken about that back issue and the doctor had said you can't even bend down to pick up a pin or something like that?
Yes, and he could not dance ever again.
Yes. I remember reading that article myself. So, I mean, what are the fallouts of the slip disc which are there, and you've sort of cured it now? What is the deal?
Yeah. So basically, I was extremely, you know, overweight. More so because I was stress eating. So it was not as a byproduct. Like some people just gain weight because of a byproduct of some, you know, existing ailment that's not in their hands. For me, it was an external source because I was stress eating during my exams, and I let go. I let loose, let's just put it that way. So I started developing health issues, and one of them was a slip disc. And what people are not aware of is that you can get a slip disc at any age. It's not age specific. It's just that, you know, you've basically a slip disc is what? Is that the liquid, you know, between the discs has rushed out of that space. So if you nip it in the bud, there is enough time for you to kind of push that liquid back. I'm sorry, I'm being very colloquial and I'm not a doctor.
No, that's the whole point of the interview, not taken from a doctor's perspective, but from a perspective of a person who's been through it. So we are not going into the technicalities and all.
Exactly. Please don't take my word
we are
for it.
not.
Go to a doctor and meet a good doctor. But this is how it was explained to me, because I was a teenager and my doctor said that, you know, you're young and you just, at that point, bed rest could have helped, you know, solve the purpose, because it was a very nascent stage of slip disc. Nonetheless, it was. And then over and above that, he said you need to lose weight because your weight is putting pressure on your spine. And I think all of these things and understanding that, you know, it was not a very good feeling. You know, I was in a lot of pain and it was self-inflicted. So that's when I decided to take things into my own hands, be it, you know, the food I was eating, or, you know, the just basic movements of going for a walk and working out or going for dance class. And it was tough because, you know, when you're at a particular weight and you're trying to start something, it's not easy because you keep slipping over there. And then I remember coming across, you know, an article of his where he spoke about just not his physical, you know, obstacles, if I may call it that, but even, you know, his speech impediment and all of those things, and how he's, and you know, when you see him, you can never imagine any of those things, which is just, I think that's what blew my mind.
Yeah, it was a revelation.
It was, and I really look up to him, of course, since, you know, I was a little girl. So I was like, okay, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. It was one of those things. And that's what, again, fueled the fire within me to kind of start my journey with fitness. It was a long, drawn process, but I eventually struck a balance where it became a part of my lifestyle. So that's how.
And like yoga also played a part in all of this, like healing, or it was basically the workouts and exercise and dance.
Yeah, it was a bunch of a lot of things. I was obviously
and including diet, of course, you mentioned.
Yeah, so I spoke to somebody, like I took professional help, wherein they chalked out a diet plan, which was again not like some crash diet. You know, it was like this has to be the key is consistency.
Consistency.
So obviously diet, which is your nutrition, and then any kind of movement. It could be anything, whatever you enjoy, whatever is good for you. Because obviously I was recovering from slip disc, and obviously now I'm absolutely fine. But at that point I had to take baby steps, and I was lucky because I was young, so that my body was able to cope with something like that maybe faster than some other people. But yeah, it's very like catered to you. So I remember at that point I was doing some form of weight training, and of course dance class was something I was anyways doing. And then I started playing sport, and I fell in love with it, which was boxing, basketball, now recently paddleball. So I've realized I love playing sport, and that's a huge way for me. And I'm like, hey, this counts as a workout. So it's a win-win situation. So sports has actually really, really helped me with everything.
You're not from a filmy family, so to say, right?
No,
So
not so to say at all.
how did the transition, how did the entrance into acting happen? What were your parents' reactions? Like, were they, oh my God, what are you doing? Or what was it like?
It was exactly that. I'm
Yeah?
not even joking. I don't know how I have landed here. But I remember the first time, the realization dawned upon me very late in my life. I was in college, and I think the seed was sown at some point when I was in school, because I used to always participate in a lot of stage debate competitions, elocution, dramatics. And that's the only time I would actually genuinely feel happy. But I was also good at academics. I was head girl. So, at that point, everyone was doing either medicine, engineering, and all of that. And I think I also drifted in that path because, everyone in my family is somewhat in that field as well. But it didn't give me any sort of happiness. And so that's when I shifted to arts, and I started doing BMM because I loved writing. So I wanted to do something, related to media and writing. And I got a call for an audition in my second year because somebody from Mukesh Chabra's casting company and had seen my photo, I think, on Facebook, or they saw me somewhere. I'm not really sure how that happened, but they asked me, would you like to audition for an ad? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't understand how that process worked, but I didn't tell anyone. And I went and I gave that audition, and I landed the part. And then, of course, I told my parents. But that's when I set foot on a set for the first time, which was for a commercial, I was like, this is where I belong. And I kind of, mustered up the courage, told my parents that this is what I want to do, and they were not for it. They were like, are you crazy? Like, what do you mean? Where does this come from suddenly? So then it was a battle, a short battle, I'll say. Now they are my biggest support system. But yeah, that's how it kind of started for me, I guess.
Okay, and last question, because of this, you've got to rush to different places. What can you tell us about your future film or web series projects?
Right now, unfortunately, I'm not in the place to speak about any of them, but I just want the audiences to know that I'm not going anywhere. They're going to be seeing a lot of me, and hopefully they'll be enjoying all of that.
Very smartly answered question. Thank you so much for talking to us, and
thank you.
all the best for the future, and may you get more IIFA and whatnot awards.
Thank you, and
Yeah,
I hope
thank
we
you.
get to speak soon.
Absolutely.
We have reason to speak again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.